Well, happy Tuesday night, everybody. We're in here tonight for our post tournament live stream where we always try to bring on the winners if they're willing to come. Usually try to get the top three in here. Sometimes everybody can't make it, but tonight we got the top three from this past weekend's event. We got Ped, we got Brandon, and we got Caleb. I'm going to bring these guys in one by one, and then we'll just continue the conversation that we were having before things started up here. So we're bringing Ped first. Mr. Ped Vang's with us tonight.
What's going on?
And Mr. Brandon Hall coming in second place this past weekend. Brandon tonight. And the winner of the Lake Hickory event number 2, 2024 Foothills season, Kaleb Davis is with us tonight.
How's it going?
Punching his spot into the TOC this past weekend. And we're just going to talk to these guys tonight. I'm interested to see in how these guys caught fish this weekend. I was around two of them. I was around Ped for a minute. I don't know if he's seen me, but I come in behind him once or twice, and then I fished for real close to Brandon for a minute.
Oh yeah.
The end of my day, all I caught was nothing. I had 2 bites, and I'm interested to see how these guys caught fish when it was such a tough day for me. But we'll just start it off. We'll just continue the conversation, like I said, that we were having. Feel free to share as much or as little information as you want to share, and tell us how you caught them. And it's just a conversation between 4 friends here tonight. Got quite a few guys tuning in already. And then a lot of people will watch this later, I'm sure too. But Ped, we'll let you kick it off, and whatever you want to talk about, we'll let you tell us about your day, and then us 3 guys will pick you a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, no, this year I've not had the chance to really get into the monthlies like I did last year. So getting into the monthlies last year gave me a lot of time on the water.
Yeah.
Pre-fished quite a bit last year. It really helped me to kind of hone in on my techniques that I've been trying to figure out over the years. Well, say over the years, but just in the short time I've been fishing.
Yeah.
So this year, I'm actually going to school. That's why I'm not doing any of the monthlies. This year, I'm I went in blind on Norman, but Norman being my home lake, that I just fished history.
Oh yeah.
For Hickory, going to Hickory, I went in blind. I really didn't even know which ramp I was going to go to originally. Made a decision on the way out that morning. Traveled to some spots on the lake where I knew had fish on docks. First thing in the morning, I was able to catch that first fish about 7:50 or something, somewhere around there. Of all things, I was just using a Cinco first thing in the morning, just because I figured there'd probably some fish at the dock.
Yeah.
No bites for the next 3 hours. I was expecting rain. I was expecting it to be cold.
Me too.
Wind to hit for most of the day, which didn't much later.
Yeah, it ended up being a nice day, really.
Yeah, it ended up being a nice day. Much warmer than I was in that thermals. I was sweating like a dog.
Yeah.
Wet and cold. But I traveled for about 3 hours on the lake. Go to any on just trying to hit up points, but with no wind, it was pretty difficult to get anything. A lot of suspended fish. Wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, man.
They don't know I do use live scope, but I just wasted a lot of time paying attention to my live scope. So I just put that away. About 10 o'clock, and then just started fishing main lake points, dragging a shaky head erratically on the bottom. And once the wind picked up about 10:30, that's first good bite. I think that was my 16.50.
Mm-hmm.
In about 10:30, and then the wind died off shortly afterwards. So kind of traveled around for a few more hours, came back to the same point when the wind picked up again, and then pretty much fought the wind, casting into the wind on kind of main lake points next 2 hours until about 3 o'clock, which is where I got just in the 2 hour span, I caught probably 3 or 4 fish on that one point. But definitely wore me out because I had to sit there fishing, trying to fish the windbreak, but casting into the wind, about 20 mile per hour gusts.
Yeah, treading water.
Yeah. Then there was the bass boat tournament. The bass boats were past us pretty often there off the main lake. So dealing with that. But yeah, I mean, shake your head pretty much took care of it. Got the job done. Sort of the go-to to finesse.
Yeah.
It works. I learned on jigs. I'd like to get back to a jig. That used to be my confidence bait, but here lately the shake head's been
Shaky head's been the juice.
shake head's been.
Let's look at your fish here. So you had a 18 1/4, and that was your big fish. And it says you caught that fish at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that's when the wind was picking up pretty good. I'd gone further up the river and then didn't really find anything. Caught a big catfish, actually, a huge catfish off of all things, a shaky head as well. Broke my hook off, broke my line. It was a good fight. It's always fun catching whatever, but pretty much wasting my time there as well with the catfish. There was a school of them, which I should have known better. There's never 10, 15, 5-pound bass just all schooled up together.
Yeah, when you seen them on your graph.
Yeah, saw them on the graph, found out it's catfish, made my way back, and where I caught the 16, that's pretty much where I stayed the rest of the day. Tried to make something else happen the last 30 minutes, but it didn't really pan out as far as calling those 16s.
Yeah, here's your this is your early fish. Caught this one about 11 o'clock, the 16 1/2.
Yeah, all in the wind. When the wind was blowing, that was the only time I could get the
fish were biting. Yep. And your 16, you caught it at 1:45. So 1:45, 2 o'clock, you caught the 2 fish you needed to get that third place in the last hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
And here was your other 16. I know I kept looking at the leaderboard throughout the day, and I seen you move up the leaderboard. I tried not to look at it, but
yeah, I'm the same way. I used to
encourage myself.
When you look at it after so many hours of not catching anything, right? It's pretty encouraging. It was definitely a mental game that day for me.
For sure.
Get off the leaderboard. I didn't really take a look at it. Just focused on fishing and try to utilize, the tournament time. Good. And it worked out.
Yeah, Hickory, I switched those events around the past 2 years. Since we started, we fished Hickory first. I live right down the street. I live right outside of Taylorsville. So it's about a 5-minute ride to Dusty, or I guess that would be the closest ring up. But I switched the Norman and the Hickory events up because I thought Hickory could shine a little better in March. But it seemed like it was still a little early for bedfish. And
yeah,
Norman's on fire right now. So maybe next year we'll flip it back around and fish Hickory first, and because Norman's fun when it's spawn. I mean, you can find fish everywhere.
If you hit Hickory right, it's bedfish is as good as any lake in this part of the state. It's just especially with the way the weather's been the last couple springs, it's hard to know when that's going to come.
To time it, yeah. It's probably 2 more weeks, and you'll be able to see them on beds at Hickory.
This is actually the best I've done on Lake Hickory so far. So
Yeah. You've had a pretty good start to the season.
Yeah.
You're way up there in the standings. I'll show that AOI again here toward the end of this, but
I'm trying to hang on to B Hang's coattails.
yeah.
Maybe
You need to follow him around next month. He was Mr. April last year, man. Him and his brother.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They had the smackdown on some fish in April. Well, Brandon, we'll have the
and Kerr Scott. That's
yeah,
the name.
James and Kerr. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and it should be pretty good. I mean, April 20th. That's going to hit that just about right. There'll definitely be some bedfish up there for sure.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Brandon, we'll let you have the floor, buddy. Tell us about your day. Maybe introduce yourself and say a little bit about who Brandon Hall is and how long you've been fishing. And
Well, I started fishing last year. Well, tournament kayak fishing middle of summer last year. First event was Queen City event, number 7, I think. And then just fished, I think, every divisional event he had all the way to the end of the year. I fell in love with it. And then I never fished a foothills event last year. Just started that this year. Only been to Lake Hickory once before this tournament, and it was a horrible experience because it was in the middle of the summertime. But
where are you from? Where are you from, Brandon?
Bessemer City, North Carolina.
Yeah. So a pretty good ride for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't too bad, but about an hour. But yeah, no, my day kind of started off horrible, to be honest. I had a lot of fish jumping around me. I'm not sure, I'm assuming it was bass. But I was trying to catch them, and all my gear had malfunctioned from Hartwell. I never re-lined or re-rigged or anything because I wasn't expecting to actually fish this tournament. I wasn't going to do it because I'm kind of focused on Norman for BOS. But I decided to go and did not re-spool anything, and it was horrible starting off. I think I backlashed 2 reels early in the morning. I threw off a bait, and I was down to about 2 rods left. It was about 11 o'clock, and it was 2 spinning rods. So I just threw it and tied on a shaky head and just started targeting, those pre-spawn pathways, along the bank, and just caught fish.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't even running a graph, right?
No, I've run my graph, but I'm really still learning a lot about it. But I don't have live scope or nothing. Just looking at my maps really and going with contours and looking for those pre-spawn spots and creek channels and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Kind of looking around.
You didn't miss anything with live scope on Hickory.
I'm scared to get that right now, but I don't want to get distracted.
Yeah, we were kind of in the same area for a little while, and I sort of knew it was you because I'd met you that morning at the ramp, and I seen your jersey, and I was like, I think that's Brandon over there, and you were kind of on the other side of the lake, and then I checked the leaderboard, and I seen you were kind of, you had caught some fish, and I was like, man, what the heck am I doing wrong here?
Well, I was losing hope.
I wanted to take you along too, I tried to stay away from you.
Yeah. No, I was losing hope whenever all my gear malfunctioned. I was actually on the phone with Travis Horn, and he said he hadn't caught anything. So I just put on a shaky head and rolled up to a spot, and I threw it, and my line just swims away, and I set the hook. I thought it was a lot bigger than what it was, but it was only 18 3/4. But it probably weighed, I don't have a scale, but it's probably 4.5 pounds. It was fat, really fat. And then I kind of targeted those same areas all the way throughout the pocket and caught my limit, and then came back out on the way back to the boat ramp and called out with a 16.75, I think, spot.
Yeah, there's your 18.75. I mean, that's a pretty healthy fish.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Got a big old head on him.
Yeah, it looked a lot bigger whenever his head came out of the water. I'll tell you that.
And let's see, you caught that one. You caught that one kind of early. It was 10 o'clock.
I done lost hope.
Yeah. And then here an hour later, so about 11:15, you put this one in the boat. 16.75. It's a pretty good fish too. And here's your third one, another 16.75. And let's see, another good fish. He's a little smaller than those largemouths.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing about a spot, man. They're good kayak fish. You caught that one at 1:35, so you're spread out with 10 o'clock to 1:30 with your fish that actually helped you in the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, you put up a pretty good limit. It says you called one time, at least through Tourney X.
Yeah. Yeah, I only caught 4 fish. So not very many.
Caught 4 fish. How many bites did you have?
I landed all my bites.
So you had 4 bites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to mess around when I get the bites.
Yeah, that can be the difference, man. Most of the time.
Yeah, I got a problem with that stingy with my hook set, so I miss.
Yeah, I mean you can spin out by missing fish, but that's the case a lot of times. You catch 3 fish and you had 5 bites, and you batted 100% on all 5 bites. So a lot of times it's the difference. Fishing clean. Well, yeah, man, Brandon, you've been fishing quite a bit. You fished Hartwell last weekend, which Ped, you did too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Made some bad choices on Queen City Day, anyways. Decided to go blind on the new ramp, even though where I went originally from Mountain City turned out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Got overconfident with what I thought I figured out on Hartwell.
Yeah,
broke on the second day for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, didn't you place in the mountain motor thing?
No, I think I was 7th or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how fishing, man, you can find something one day and then the very next day it's not there. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a coin flip a lot of times. At least finding the fish there. This time of the year it's a little more predictable, but same goes for patterns. You can find a pattern on Thursday and Saturday it's not there. So.
Yeah, LifeScope didn't help on Hartwell either.
Yeah, but we're gonna give it the credit when it does help, and that's the only reason you won, because you had LifeScope.
That's right.
Well, Brandon, we appreciate you coming and fishing with us. You all 3 of you guys are at the top in the AOI standings now. So I thought Brandon was going to be the leader, but after running it, Kaleb had almost a 3-inch advantage this past weekend. So Kaleb is currently our AOI leader. But Brandon, you got anything else you want to touch on? Or?
No, not really. Just shout out to my teammate Travis Horn and his 3rd place finish over at Hartwell in the tournament. We took the team win as well. So
what'd you put in your pocket up for that?
I think $75 each. Not a whole lot, but I got the plaque up here.
Nice plaque, man. That's what we're fishing for.
That's all I'm fishing for. I ain't got but 2, but
$5 plaques mean more than that $500 check.
Yeah. But yeah, no, shout out to him for sure. We definitely improved as anglers fishing together here the past month or 2.
Yeah.
But, thank you to you and Ashley and everybody at Foothills. Kaleb, congratulations on your win.
Thanks.
congratulations on third place.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I ain't have no more fish to send at the end of the day to put you in second. But
Next time. There's always next time.
nah, I can't do that to nobody. I like to submit my fish when I get them.
Yeah. I feel you.
A lot of people don't, but I do. So
Yeah, I usually hold mine to about 2 hours left in the tournament. If I don't know, I just feel like I need to keep fishing.
Yeah, I unless it's over 17 inches, I hold mine until about 2 hours left, and then try to put them in. I don't like to put a bunch of 14-inch fish in. It just don't feel right.
Oh, I know what you mean.
well, I'm
Interesting.
still new to the game, so maybe I'll be that way next year. I don't know.
What'd you say, Ped?
If they're 10, they're going in.
Yeah. Are all three of you guys fishing the Queen City stuff this coming weekend, or not this weekend, but next weekend?
I'm not.
You're not.
Yeah, no, not next weekend.
I am.
Yeah, I think it's a motor event, isn't it? Even the Queen City.
No,
This
it was the BOS non-motor. It was one of their two, I think.
Okay, all
But-
right.
I am fishing the Norman event. Yeah,
You are?
I am. Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
So just Queen City.
Yeah. I'm thinking about fishing the Queen City side just because of the fishing will be good right now. There'll be a lot of people out there, but fishing Norman 1st of April, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, Caleb, we'll let you have the floor. Thanks, Brandon.
Oh yeah, thank you.
We'll let you have the floor to tell us about your day, whatever you want to share with us.
Yeah, so this is my second season fishing with Queen City, and last year, I guess a little bit of a background. I started kayak fishing in 2019, I think. I sold my bass boat that I had in high school and was fishing tournaments out of, and started kayak fishing in 2020. I was young and dumb, and my first tournament was the inaugural bass event on Logan Martin in Alabama. I was a college kid running track, asked my track coach if I could get off for a few days, and drove down to Alabama by myself and fished that event and made some really dumb mistakes and thought it was going to make me not want to fish kayak tournaments anymore. But, we had those elastic ID holders back a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought that they went around the fish. I had like an 18.5 or 19-inch fish was my first fish of the morning, and I stuck it around the fish. And an hour later, I got a phone call from the tournament director, from Steve, and he was like, yeah, that fish is disqualified. You can't do that. And, that was a crushing blow at that point. And finished out that event and, kind of never looked back. Fished CKA that next year, and the year after COVID, took a year off as I was finishing up school, and then decided to start fishing with you guys last year. Yeah. So, had a decent year last year.
Did.
It was first year back, so I was a little rusty and made some mistakes that, cost me that TOC spot. But went into this year, really with a couple goals. Wanted to qualify for the Tournament of Champions, wanted to be top 10 in the AOI race, and wanted to cash a check for the first time. So knocked two of those off, and we're sitting with the third one in a good spot. So that's kind of just a background of, the last few years for me. I want to start off by, thanking God, because I wouldn't have got that win the other day without him. And I'll go into that in a minute. But so kind of about my day on Saturday, Hickory's my home lake. I've not spent a lot of time on it in the last couple of years up until this month. Really tried to spend a lot of time on it during the off season. I got live scope, and I spent all January on Norman, thinking I was, you hear all the people say, "Oh, live scope's cheating," and I wanted to believe it, and like, "Oh, I'm gonna get live scope and I'm gonna start winning tournaments." And went out and I was scoping all month on Norman and couldn't catch a fish over 15 or 16 inches on live scope, and I was like, "Well, this isn't as advertised."
Well, my money back.
Yeah, for sure. And then fished our January event, and it within the first 10 minutes before we started, I was telling Ped and Cody that pulled up on my first brush pile and something just didn't feel right. So I pulled my lap scope pole up, turned my graphs off, and flipped my screens down and just went fishing the rest of the day and had a great time. Didn't have quite the finish I wanted, but still a solid finish, solid finish for points. So then going into this event, when I saw the schedule at the beginning of the year, I thought my best chance at qualifying through winning an event was going to be the Kerr-Scott event. I have a lot of confidence in that lake. Missed it by one stupid mistake last year, and really felt like that was my chance, and felt like Hickory I wasn't going to have that chance just because my history with Hickory over the last year or so. And went out this month and wanted to, try and get comfortable on Hickory again, and spent a lot of time on it, and found something early in the month that was a rock pile and brush pile that I didn't know existed. And it was in an area that I've fished for 6 or 7 years. It had fish on it, and caught some really good fish for the monthly, and kept checking on them about once or twice a week leading up to the tournament. And every time I pulled up, it didn't really matter what the weather was doing. There were still some fish there, and the quality seemed to be good. So Saturday, I launched at Dusty Ridge. I think all three of us launched there.
Yeah.
So launched there, went straight to that spot, and first thing, saw a fish float, or a school of fish floating. Threw a jig head minnow to them, got smoked. One took off. I'm still going to tell myself it was a striper, but I don't know if it was because of the way it ate, and popped me off. I was throwing 6-pound leader, and that put a damper on things first thing in the morning. And then for the next hour and a half, 2.5 hours, I didn't catch really anything, and caught a 13 and a 14, and nothing felt like it was going how I wanted it to. About 9:15, I had all but decided that I was going to pick up a casting rod and a lipless crankbait and just go to beating the bank and hitting the backs of pockets. And as I started out of that area, just felt this voice in the back of my head that was like, just stick it out. Just trust your instincts, trust what you've been working on. And so that's what I did. I stayed in that area, and around 9:30, I caught my first good one. It was a 17 3/4, dragging a swim bait. And that fish, I thought it was a striper when I hooked it, just because it was digging so hard. And so that caught that fish, landed it, was feeling okay, but knew it was going to take close to 54 inches. That was kind of what I thought going into this tournament, that it was going to take around 54 to win. So that was my goal. And then didn't catch much from there on till probably 11:30, but just kept going over this stretch of bank, trying to keep the boats off of it, because I knew it could replenish. So I just kept working this stretch of bank, probably a 100-yard stretch. And there's a brush pile at one end and a rock pile at the other, and pulled up on the brush pile at around 11:30, and there was a few fish on the brush pile. I tossed in there, and I didn't catch these fish, quote unquote, scoping. I saw they were there, and I used live scope to help me make the cast, but wasn't looking at the screen when they were biting. And tossed over top of the brush pile and was dragging a swim bait through the brush pile, and caught the second one, which was my 19 1/4, around 11:30. And
11:22. Yep.
Yeah. So after that, about an hour went by and didn't get any bites. Started to get anxious and went to work to the next point, and kind of left that area for just a second. Caught a couple 14-inch fish, just dragging down the bank, and just felt like I needed to go back over there. got back over there and kept fishing that area, caught a couple more 14-inch fish, and then went back to the same brush pile I caught that 19 1/4 out of around 1:30 and caught the 18 3/4. And when at that point, I had like 51.5 inches before I caught that fish. And I just got done talking to an older gentleman in a boat who had just gone over top of that brush pile when I had left it. And he and I were just talking, and I was like, yeah, I said, sitting in first right now with 51.5, but I've got to cull this 14-inch fish with something 17 plus if I want to have a shot at winning. And pulled up on there and first cast on that brush pile, caught that 18 3/4. And then basically for the rest of the day, I just sat on that stretch of bank and guarded it. It's, fishing isn't necessarily supposed to be a defensive sport, but I just knew that area was still holding fish. And I actually lost one more out of that brush pile later in the day that would have culled that 17 3/4. But yeah, overall, I mean, it couldn't have gone more textbook than, how it did. Everything went as planned, and I broke off a couple fish.
Area?
Yeah, everything was within 100-yard stretch.
That's the way it is a lot of times, yeah.
And it just, that stretch just kept replenishing. And, I heard you say just a minute ago, stuff can change overnight. And I went out Sunday and couldn't get a bite on that spot. My brother caught one 13-inch fish, same stuff.
Yeah.
Went back out there because he hadn't been able to fish in a few months. And he was like, hey, let's go out and let's go hit that brush pile and rock pile. And they just weren't there.
Yeah.
So, it was a little bit of luck, but I'm also going to say, it was good Lord being on my side in that moment. But what's that? It's live scope. Yeah. But yeah, that whole can of worms can be a little interesting, but I've been on both sides of it, and
yeah, man.
It's just a tool. It's like everything else. You got to learn it and you got to spend time behind it. And, I probably wouldn't have caught a limit if I had stayed running live scope for that whole Norman tournament. But
yeah.
It was a different situation for these circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is I told my fiance and the rest of my family and Jody as well, who was my teammate for probably the last 2 weeks. I said, if that spot holds, I can win the tournament on that spot. Yeah. And Thursday I went back out and checked it, caught 118 off of it and shook some fish off. And I said, if those fish are still there, I can win as long as I don't make any mistakes on Saturday. And it all played out.
Yeah, you were gone, man. When we all went to the same ramp. Me and Ashley were there too, and I had no idea you were even there. You were gone. You were in the water before anybody. Probably you were like, I'm making it to this.
Yeah,
spot.
I think I was the second kayak in the water, and I was the first one in that direction. John House and I were the only ones who went that way, and he stopped and fished some docks, so I ran straight there, and then he ran on past me. And I just sat on that spot all day. Ran into Cameron towards the end of the day and a couple other guys, but yeah, I just did everything I could to hold it down and knew that, that's the first time I've ever just sat on a spot and felt like I could actually, felt confident enough in what I knew from that spot that I could sit there all day and catch a good limit. And, I've thought that before, but never actually committed to it. I've always, gotten negative and left. And going into this year, I was like, if there's one thing I can do better than I did last year, it was, stay positive throughout the day and, trust my gut and trust my instincts. And it paid off. So, we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, man, we're happy for you. You locked down a spot for the TOC. You don't have to worry about. Last year, I think you missed the TOC by like 1/4 of an inch or something. Is that right?
It was a half inch or something. It was less than an inch. And what makes me so sick about that is our second Norman tournament, I think. I had like my small fish was 13 or 14 inches, and I had a 16.5 on the board and was taking my picture, and it flopped off. And it stung in that moment, but I didn't think all that much of it. And then that came back up that last tournament when I realized I missed the TOC by that little. So,
yeah, that one moment was what caused the fish flopping off the board.
Yeah.
5 months earlier cost you. Yeah, dude. Well, you locked it down. I'll post these standings real quick. Let's see. Yeah, all you guys are up here in the standings. Let me get it. Here we go. So all you guys are up at the top. Kaleb, you're in first, leading the AOI currently. Got a nice little lead, 2 inches and some change. And Brandon, you're just a couple inches behind him. And B's in third. Ped, you're in fourth. I mean, between you guys, there's 4 inches between fourth place and first place. So a tight little race there at the top. 50-inch bags, man. That's what you're gonna need. With it taking just the best 5 events, 250 points. We based it off, it's inches, but it converts into points. If you can average a 50 bag for those 5 events, I mean, you should be good. Last year, Austin won
with 52 and a half ish, I think.
Well, yeah.
Average.
He ended up with just a little bit under 260 inches, total for his 5 events. And then Lou was in second, and I think he ended up with like 252, something like that. So, a 50-inch average is definitely going to get you into the TOC. It may take a little more to win the AOY, but 50-inch bag's definitely what people should be shooting for. I don't know if I've ever caught a 50-inch bag. I think last year I caught a 49.75 or something. So, I mean, 50 inches is pretty good. That would work out to what, like a 17-inch average on your fish?
Yeah, just about.
So that's what it's going to take, I think, to win it all. And right now we got, so Kaleb, you won an event. Kaleb won an event. Jacobs won an event. Both the Davis boys have won an event. So we rolled down a couple extra spots. You guys are familiar with it, but the highlighted names, those are event winners. And if there's event winners inside the top 12 this year instead of the top 10, then we'll roll down that many spots just to keep it interesting and bring a couple more into the TOC. So right now we'll roll down to 14, which is nice. Last year there was only 14 total in the TOC at the end of the year. But fishing for a little bit more money this year. There's a little bit over $4,500 in the prize pot for the championship at the end of the year. I mean, that's pretty good if there's 17 or whatever, 18 people fishing one tournament at the end of the year. I mean, that's a pretty fun event to be a part of. And Kaleb's already got his spot.
Yeah, one of you guys, Ped or Brandon, can take the next Hickory tournament at the end of the year. I'm not going to be around for that one, so one of you guys take it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Hickory. I'm pretty sure I got it last on the schedule, so it'll be a fall event, and hopefully,
I think it's September.
Is it September?
Yeah, because it's the day of my wedding, so.
Oh.
Couldn't convince her to move. Couldn't convince her to move that around.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, anything else you guys want to share? I mean, I appreciate y'all coming on tonight.
I will take the chance to give a little shout out to Preston Herman over at Sure Southern Outdoors in Hickory. If you guys are in the Hickory area and need anything tackle wise, he's got a good selection of Daiwa stuff and good selection of baits. Carries biz baits and a lot of the local stuff. Really good guy. Just tell him you know me, and he might help you out. So
get us a little discount. Yeah, man. He's helped the winter trail, the Hickory Winter Trail, and yeah, Preston seems like a cool guy. He's always posting stuff up on Marketplace too. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, he and I we went to LR together, so we've known each other for a while, and from back when he was making baits before he got the shop. So he's kind of got, in my opinion, for the style of fishing I do, he's got a better selection than Dix or Academy does.
Yeah. Well, you and Jody won the team side this week, and while I was on the water, I thought about something that I've never clarified, and I don't know. I just had the thought. I said, if there's a team side tie, what is the tiebreaker for that? So I'm putting it out here now, and I'll add it to the rules at some time too. But if there's ever a tie on the team side, we're going to make the tiebreaker whichever member from said team that's in the tie there is highest on the leaderboard, then that'll be our tiebreaker. Because today we'll have a tie, and I'll not have nothing specified on how we take care of that. But moving forward, if there's ever a tie on the team side, whichever teammate, whatever's highest on the overall leaderboard, that'll be the tiebreaker. So
yeah, and so Jody's actually my uncle, and
I met him.
He was
at the ramp.
Yeah, he was. He didn't really bass fish at all. Was a fly fisherman and had been looking at getting a pedal kayak and got one late last year. So he's not been doing it long at all, and it's pretty cool for us to get the team win in his second tournament ever.
Yeah, dude.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you paid his entry fee, or he paid his entry fee with the win, and put $60 in his pocket. Did you take him out? Did you take him out for dinner Saturday night at least?
No, I didn't take him out for dinner.
Jody, Kaleb owes you a dinner.
I'm still paying off LiveScope, so
yeah. Well, that $550 will go a little ways toward that.
Yeah,
toward that wedding anyway. Well, guys, I'll not keep you in here. I appreciate y'all coming on. A lot of times people don't want to come on, which I understand. It's all good, but I appreciate y'all coming on. Ped's been on here quite a few times.
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Definitely appreciate the opportunities here.
Why I got you on here, I'd say we're about to end, but I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
The Yakking Off gang. Seen. Tell me about that.
So we're group of family members. Kind of just formed the Yakking Off gang to kind of compete against each other, push each other. Shout out to them because they're really the ones who have pushed me to kind of get me where I am today. It helps to have a group of anglers who have experience because I've only been bass fishing, for 3 years.
Yeah.
Never bass fished before, bass boat or kayak, fishing in general. But bass fishing is still new to me. But with the guys, they've helped to push me, and I've learned a lot from them as well. We're pretty competitive, so when we compete against ourselves, we push each other pretty hard, and there's a lot of talk,
trash talk.
It's awful, fun. It's a fun, and it's been great. So I would like to take a minute to thank my wife, my kids. They've been great supporters of me. It's definitely my family that supports me through this fishing journey that I've been taking. So it's been a great journey. Yourself, Cody, you, Garrett, Ashley, you guys put these events on. So these grassroots type events definitely gives us a lot of opportunities to further develop ourselves, just enjoy our time on the water. And I know you guys put a lot of work in, so it's great to see Foothills grow to what it is today and continue to grow.
But appreciate that, Pen.
Yeah. Now, to that, I'll also say, I know things can, when schedules are releasing and everything, can get a little interesting between guys in all the different clubs. And I know there was some stuff being said and going around social media when schedules were coming out, and people questioning why we needed. I guess we're technically considered the fourth trail for the state, and why we needed a fourth trail. And I feel like you guys give everybody an opportunity, especially the guys in the western part of the state, and this area in particular, to not have to drive all over the place. And the entry fees they're a little cheaper for us, but to me the savings isn't in the entry fee. It's in the time I get to spend with my family, not having to travel, and it's the time I get to spend not driving all over the place.
Yeah, man.
So I'm grateful for you guys and what you guys do. I fish some of the other trails, and I really like the group of guys that we fish with here. I think everybody, it's a more mutual respect than I've seen in some of the other clubs, and it's nice.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, Caleb.
Well, Caleb, everybody waters pretty laid back. So
is so the Yakking Off gang, just the last question about the Yakking Off gang. Got the shirt. Do you guys have a belt? Did I see somebody post a belt?
Yeah, we've got our little group team belt as well.
All right.
Hang is thanking us most of the time.
Yeah.
But he pushes hard, so we definitely push each other hard and talk a lot of smack, but it's always a good time.
Oh yeah, all in good fun. That's cool stuff. Brandon, you got anybody you want to thank again, or?
No, well, my wife and kids, of course, support my fishing, traveling, because I travel. I love to travel and fish. But that's my teammate, Travis Horn.
Yeah, man.
Shout out. John House, Purple Heart Homes. Y'all need to fish that event if you're not. That's about it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for what you done for that event. Donating from your small business to help that event. I appreciate that. I know John and them do too. Well, guys, I'll not keep you any longer. I'm gonna spin this wheel. We'll say our goodbyes. Ped, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Brandon, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Hope you make it back for another one.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Caleb, congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
We'll hopefully see you guys on the water. Good luck on the Kerscott Lake James event. Should be a good one. I will say Lake James may be a little crowded that day. The CBC tournament is on the same day, which they were fishing Norman when we fished Norman, and it wasn't really an issue, but there is a boat tournament on Lake James that day. So you guys be careful for that, but we're not going to move that event. Kind of talked about it, the possibility of it, but I mean, 100 bass, but what's 100 bass boats? What's different from fishing in June? And there's 300 pleasure boaters out there, so not a big deal. But guys, I'll pull you out. Good luck on the next one. Hope to have you guys back, and hope all you guys have a great week.
You as well,
Thanks,
Cody.
you too.
Thanks.
All right, fellas. See y'all.
See ya.
See ya.
So I appreciate these guys coming on tonight. Again, it's not always something people want to do, so I'm grateful to these guys for coming on and sharing some knowledge with us and spending some time with us tonight. Thanks for all you guys that are watching. We're going to spin the wheel now for our free events, free entry fees, for any event. Doesn't necessarily have to be for the next one. This is a members wheel. Here's our first spin. The members only. LifeRing Ministries gives us 2 free entry fees to give away after each event. You can only win one for the season, just to kind of spread it around. But our first winner is going to be Matt Simmers. And, I will say this: I seen Matt had his boat for sale on Facebook last week. So if he ends up not being able to use this event, we'll give away another one on the next one and give away 3 events. I'll reach out to him and talk to him. But Matt Simmers, you have a free entry fee for an event of your choosing. We'll shuffle the wheel again, and we'll spin it again here for a second free entry fee. We appreciate LifeRing Ministries, Frank and Gary, those guys giving us the opportunity to do this. See who our winner is going to be. Going to be Austin. Going to get slow rolled. Oh, it's going to be Landon. We both got slow rolled, Austin. One more. You got a free entry fee for the next event of your choosing. I'll reach out to both these guys and talk to them and let them know that they'd won free entries. This past weekend, we give a cash and fishing rod away to Eric Michinoff. I think I'm probably butchering his last name. He was our out of the money prize winner and took home a cash and rod. And B Hang took home our Hobie sunglasses, our second out of the money prize. Took home Hobie sunglasses and an Aqua external battery pack. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Again, we're fishing April the 20th. Event number 3, Kerr Scott versus Lake James. We call it the Reservoir Battle. And I'm looking forward to that event. That event is live on Tourney X right now. The charity event's live for July on Tourney X right now. And the monthly for April is live on Tourney X right now. So if you guys need anything next week, next month, till we meet again, we will see y'all later.